play them one more time. See who's watching too. People stayed home, read books, listened, rested, exercised, and made art, played games, and learned new ways of being, and were still, and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced, some met their shadows. And the people began to think differently. The people healed. And the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And the people joined together again. They grieved their losses and made new choices. Dreamed new images and created new ways to live. Heal the earth fully. night out on The People Stayed Home. That's a poetry by a lady called Kitty OMeara. And if you Google it, I saw it, it seems like it's out there. Everybody loves this poem. It's a little bit of reassurance in some tough times. Oh, look at that. This is another new thing, adding my Dyna Drive pedal. I'm so, this is the time to try totally different things. And at the beginning of this series, 3 weeks ago, I'm 3 weeks in now to my isolation. If I seem to be getting a little stir crazy. But my boy Joel's taking care of me. He brings food, leaves it on the porch. Need batteries. But last time at the beginning, I put out that I could do a theme each time, you know, and I wanted to have maybe I got nice songs that are very much like The Blues Is Hurting and One More Weasel and all about the music business songs. The Day Coke Saved the Blues, that's a popular number. Maybe we'll get around to that. We'll see how long this goes on. And also I had songs, I was thinking I could do a whole set of the Eastern Townships, tunes I wrote about my time in the townships. But for tonight, I think it's going to be songs about musicians that have touched me. A couple of them I got to know very well, but the last one, who is Lenny Breau, legendary musician, I got to play with him only once, and I wrote a song about that. And Kathi, McDonald, who I had a very intense time with because we were on a tour in Germany and playing every night, practically every night. And then Professor Piano, Scott Cushnie, who I got to meet about the time I first got to Toronto. And I had been playing this song. The music that you're about to hear is written by Scott, and it was a song called Bourbon Street, and I heard it on the radio back in Sherbrooke when I was a teenager probably, or very young. I remember taping it and learning the words, and I used to play the sax, but I don't play it no more. Anyway, I never knew who wrote it. I never heard it again. But it stuck in my head. I played that song. I played it at gigs. And I get to Toronto, and I think I might have been even played it for some friends here who knew that it was Scott Cushnie's song. And one time at Albert's Hall there on Bloor Street, I got to meet Scott. And so I put that all in a tune. Scott has passed away and not so long ago. And we miss him. He was a real character, and he always encouraged me. Scott Cushnie wrote this melody a long time ago. I learned it back in Sherbrooke from a radio show. Who knew one day we'd be playing together on the road in lousy weather, where he'd tell me stories about the golden days. It was years till I knew it was Scott who wrote Bourbon Street. Till a friend at Albert's Hall said, Brian, there's someone you should meet. And I ran into Scott in the washroom, told him how I'd been singing his tune. And it wasn't long till we were doing gigs downtown. And to hear the prof talk about how Yonge Street rocked, and the center of attention was a man called the Hawk. And when he heard Scott and Robbie's band, he extended his hand. story goes, Ron wanted Scott, but not the whole band. Robbie Robertson and Pete Traynor stood to lose their left hand. But Scott was in and out of Ronnie's band. Pete Traynor's name became a brand, and we all know Robbie Robertson did okay. And to hear the prof talk about how Young Street rocked, and the center of attention was a man called the Hawk. And when he heard Scott and Robbie spend, he extended his hand. That's how Scott used to play it. Not with those words, though. That's the folk process, isn't it? I love it. Now, did I leave a capo close by? Yes, I did. You know, I own 3 capos. And you'd think when you need a capo, there would be one at hand. I mean, how many do you have to own? But now I realize, just now, what I'm doing wrong is like I had all 3 capos in one little pile together in a spot where I forgot it was. We got a... I don't know why it's... It sounds distorted even when it's not distorted. Is it turning red over here? How's the sound? Does it sound okay? Somebody give me a thumbs up. Here's the one about Kathi McDonald. Let me tell you, this is the time to share songs and stories. And meeting Kathi McDonald, she is a musical legend, as you will see from the lyrics in this song. She started out as the first white ICAT, playing with Ike and Tina, and played with everybody all the way up to the Stones between then and the end of her young life. And she lived, she was a firecracker, she was a fireball. And so she lived a very intense life, and I climbed on board for about a month or so. Well, 3 weeks was the length of the tour, and maybe a week of prep before that, playing a guitar for Kathi McDonald and doing a few opening tunes, and it was all in Europe. And she was very popular there because she had been with Long John Baldry all those years. Long John Baldry is royalty across Europe. You go to blues club, any blues club in Europe, and there's a picture of Long John Baldry signed or a poster or something. He's so revered over there. We didn't realize when he lived in Canada, I don't think. Well, we knew he was one of the granddaddies of blues, but it was quite something to behold that just your association with somebody who was associated with Baldry gave you a red carpet. And they treated us like royalty when we were there, in Germany especially, Czech Republic, Switzerland. They loved Kathi McDonald too, and she put on a great show for the folks. And the last time, well, I was going to say about meeting her, you know, not to disparage her, but everybody knows she was a crazy mama. And so she didn't like to fly, so she would get pretty smashed, I think, when she was transatlantic flying. And I was meeting her in Germany. So my introduction to Kathi McDonald is a call from the concierge in my little hotel in Frankfurt saying, Ms. McDonald is here. I think there's a problem. Come down. So I made my way down and introduced myself to Kathi. I'm your new guitar player. And she said, it's gone. Everything's gone. My money, my passport, my jewelry, my address book, everything's gone. My grandmother's jewelry. And And I went, what are you talking about? Here's your luggage. And she said, well, no, she had another small bag, or two other small bags that she claimed the taxi driver had taken them. Oh man, it was quite intense. And so I'm in her room at one point, and she's got everything spread all across the whole room. No need to have opened everything else because she knew it was those bags that were missing, but still, she was checking everywhere, flipping out, and finally says, oh, well, fuck it, let's go get a drink. So I said, all right, I was hungry. I wanted a slice more than a drink. But anyway, we made our way out into the street and had a bite to eat, came back in, and I'm thinking this tour is over. She doesn't have a passport. We're not going to be touring Germany or any place else. I'll be lucky to get home without a passport. I knew I'd be all right. Anyway, I worried a bit about Kathi because she was, at that point, kind of strung out, too. She had taken some extra tranquilizers, I guess, feeling upset about the whole thing. Now she had been drinking Cuba Libre at the bar nonstop. And we finally get back to the hotel, though. And I'll spare you some of the travels. Just on a 2-block walk with Kathi McDonald could be an adventure. Late at night in Frankfurt, especially. But we get back into the hotel. She's on the 4th floor. I'm on the 2nd floor. She was on the 3rd floor or whatever. I pushed the wrong button on the elevator. We go up the elevator. The elevator door opens, and there's 2 small bags sitting on the floor right at the entrance of the elevator. I say, Kathi, is that your shit? And she went, oh my God, and it's her 2 bags. She's now in heaven. The tour is back on. We had a fabulous time. And the days off were a little more challenging than the gig days, but that's just fine. I really got to know Kathi, and on the last day we started to write a song together. But you shouldn't wait till the last day of your tour to start a song. So we had a title. And, then we were going to maybe follow up on that. But, unfortunately, probably a year or 2 later, Kathi had passed away. And I finished the tune. It's called Bulletproof. Let me play it for you now. Bear with me. She was only 16, 19 when she hooked up with a cantina. Get it right, Brian. A skinny white chick, oh, you shouldn't have said that, with a voice that could fill an arena. When she took to the stage, she's gonna raise the roof. The whole band knew, and we knew she was bulletproof. I spent some quality time in the company of Kathi McDonald. That's Kathi with an eye for adventure and occasional trouble. She had some stories so wild, you knew she must be telling the truth. She was a real straight shooter, and we thought she was bulletproof. And when the great Janis Joplin quit Big Brother, Kathi was the singer they called. And then later singing back up for Leon Russell and Joe Cocker, touring with Long John Baldry, recording with the Rolling Stones. Well, a floor-length leather coat stilettos is a bad combination. When you're running for a train in some old European train station. Well, Kathi tripped a few times, but she bounced back just like a youth. Hey, I got a looper, I think I'm gonna use it. Cruising for a bruising, we thought she was bulletproof. Clear it out first. Janice Joplin quit Big Brother. Kathi was the singer they called, and then later singing back up for Leon Russell and Joe Cocker, touring with Long John Baldry, recording with the Rolling Stones. Well, a floor-length leather coat and stilettos is a bad combination. When you're running for a train in some old European train station. Well, Kathi tripped a few times, but she bounced back just like a youth. Cruising for a bruising, and we thought she was bulletproof. Cruising for a bruising, and she thought she was thought she was bulletproof. All right, Kathi. I think that's been darn near a half hour. You can't push these things. James B's watching. Raoul. Let me leave you with a tune about a musician that we all hold in such high regard. Not just guitar players, although in the guitar universe, he is in a league of his own, I guess you'd have to say. People will tell you nobody ever played like Lenny Breau before Lenny Breau, and nobody ever played like Lenny Breau after Lenny Breau. He had such a unique touch. People have incorporated many of his stylings, but and things he invented, but that guy in the guitar world, like I said, he is a god. And I had the opportunity to meet him one time. I was in Winnipeg at the end of a tour. The rest of the band had come back east, and I thought, I'm going to hang around here a little while. And Had a couple of folks, Dick and Sandy. They had a classic hippie bead shop there on, what street was it? Osborne Street, is that? That was kind of the Yorkville of Winnipeg. And I was crashing at their place, and I think he had organized a concert in the park, and Lenny Breau was going to play. We had to go pick up Lenny. Unfortunately, Lenny didn't have a guitar at that time, and folks that know the Lenny Breau legend will recognize that there was a few times in his life where the guitar was in the hawk shop. But we went by Long and McQuaid, got a guitar, and then Lenny was going to play in the park, and then it started raining, and, well, I'll let the song tell you the rest. After this, I'm going to take off, leave you. I'm going to be watching more of these Blaincasts myself. Not the Blaincast, I keep calling it that. It's become a generic term in my brain. Come on. Last time I saw Lenny, whoops, now the earphones fall off. Last time I saw Lenny, we were driving in a Winnipeg rain. He's gonna play at some park concert, but first the stop at Long and McQuaid. Well, we got rained out, the concert canceled, so we went up to Dick and Sandy's to jam. How Winnipeg loved Lenny. He was their music man. But then he moved to Nashville, and later on LA, breaking into the big time and making him a name. The sound of his harmonics would make the most bitter picker smile. And when he died, we lost his presence. There'll always be a Lenny Breau style. Some people often wonder what these musicians are about. But the music keeps on trucking. That's why we took this route. I remember someone told me, I repeated to my wife, some people live for music, but musicians play for life. Some people live for music, but musicians play. And I'm gonna show you Some musicians pay. Whoop, you're reading it backwards, aren't you? Well, if you got it that way, or you got it that way. Musicians play for tips. Courage, it's going to be a very rough week. We're going to hang on by our fingernails, and if there's a next Sunday at 2 p.m., I will be here again with another Blaincast. Thanks for all the folks that came by.